Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Heat. Now, Heat is a platform that allows you to store, visualize, and use animation data in any 3D program. And because Heat works in all 3D programs, that means that teams working on multiple programs can collaborate on the same animation file. So in layman's terms, Heat is essentially the middleman of animations. So for example, let's say you have an animation file in Blender, but you want to use it on your character in Unreal. Simply upload the file to Heat and it will automatically retarget your animation for you to use on any 3D character that you want. Now, obviously that's within reason. If it's a biped animation, you can't use it on a quadruped character. It's the same with normal retargeting, except it's going to do it for you and possibly even at a higher quality than you could if animation isn't really your thing. But you also don't need to create your own animations. Heat has over 1,000 animations for you to simply drag and drop into your project directly from Unreal. But before we get further into the video, I just want to thank Heat for actually sponsoring this video. And I've been talking to the team for a little over a year now, so it's great to finally be actually working with them and collaborating on creating a video for them as well. We've been talking about what they're building, what I'm building, and just the industry in general. They're really great guys, and I absolutely love what they're building. I've seen the product grow over the past year, and I've seen how dedicated they really are into creating something absolutely amazing. And now I rarely accept sponsors on the channel, as you may know, and to be honest, I can't actually think of or remember the last time I did accept a sponsor, and that's because I only want to promote stuff that I actually truly believe in and will truly use. And this is something I have already used and will continue to use in the future as well, in my own projects, and I might even use them in videos further down the line as well if I see fit. For example, if we just need an animation really quickly that they've provided, we can then easily use that in the project and the tutorial as well. But anyways, now that I've got that quick overview of Heat out of the way, let's jump onto my computer so we can actually see it working in action and I can actually show you how to use Heat in your projects. So let's get right onto the computer.
So we're going to start off with where you can actually get Heat from. So you want to go over to their website, which is heat.tech, and I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. And from here, you want to sign in or create an account. So I'll go do that now. I will sign in up here in the top right, and I already have an account. If not, you would sign up. I'm going to log in, so let me do that now. And once you have signed in, you'll be greeted with a screen like this. This is basically the dashboard where you can download the plugin, explore movements, upload a movement, subscribe, or look at the documentation. So what we're going to look at first is the subscription. So if you press subscribe here, you can see the different plans. So here you can choose your subscription tier or plan, and there are 4 different tiers that you can choose from. These are free, mover, and pro. And obviously from here you can see free is where you can get 10 animations and 5 megabytes of movement upload storage. However, you don't get priority support or the character storage. Mover is the next one, which is the one where they'd recommend you go for, and this is where you get access to the entire Heat library, which at the moment is over 1,000 animations. You get 100 megabytes of movement upload storage, you get priority support, and you get character storage. This one is $25 a month, and then if you go for Pro, you get access to the whole Heat library, you get a gigabyte movement upload storage, priority support, and character storage, and that's $75 a month. And you can pay monthly or annually. Now, the difference between Mover and Pro is just the amount of upload storage that you get. And I said there are 4 tiers. The 4th tier is called Enterprise, and that is for larger studios and is available upon request. And I will cover all of the features that you get further on in the video as well. I should also mention as well that Mover is just for personal use, where Pro is for professional and commercial use. So once you've logged in, you've selected your tier, which again could just be free, you'll want to now actually download the plugin. So what we're going to do is go back to the dashboard or discover up in the top left here, so the home button, and then we'll press download plugin. We have Heat Bridge and Unreal. Heat Bridge, as you can see, is for Blender, Unity, and DAZ, and then Unreal is the one that we're going to be going for in this video. Heat Bridge is amazing, but again, I'm not covering that. So what we're going to do is press download Unreal plugin. What this is going to do is take you to the Unreal Engine Marketplace page, and once you're here, you can just press free, and then you can get it in here. And then you'll simply just press open in Launcher, the standard way you would always install a plugin to your engine. And once the Epic Games Launcher has loaded, you'll want to go to Library, and then scroll down to Vault, and you can search for Heat, and then you should see Heat Beta Plugin. What we'll do is we'll select this, or you can press Install to Engine underneath it, press Install to Engine, and then you can see which engine version you want to install it to. I'm going to install it to 5.3 and I'll install it here. While this is installing, I'll also mention as well, I have already created a new project which I'm going to be doing this in, so it's a completely new, fresh project, so you can see the whole process from beginning to end. You can do this in an already established project as well. I've just got it in a new one to show that I've not got anything else already set up. So I'll be back to you once this has installed to the engine. And so once it's installed, we can then enable it in our project the normal way you would. So you go to Edit, Plugins, search for Heat, and then we can just tick Heat there. And then it says plugin Heat is a beta version. That's fine. Just press yes. And then we'll need to restart our engine to enable it fully. So I'll do that now and get back to you once it's done. So now that it's enabled, we can close this. And now we need to actually log in to Heat through Unreal as well. So what we need to do is we need to actually get up the Heat tool window. So to do that, we can go to Window up at the top. And then we can go all the way down to the bottom and press Heat. And now once this loads up, you will see that we now have access to the Heat library directly inside of Unreal without having to go to the external browser we were on earlier. So you can see this here, and now this is essentially where we were earlier, but we can press sign in to link our account onto Unreal as well. So you open up this and just log in with the same details you created an account with earlier. I just signed in with Google, so I'll do the exact same thing here and now, and I'll get back to you once I'm logged in again. Perfect, so now I am actually logged in to Heat through here as well. So let's make this screen a little bit bigger so we can see it nicely. And you can see that now my library has populated with all of the animations I have. So I have an account as well on here, obviously. I believe I have the mover plan. So I have access to all of the entire library, so all 1000 animations that are on here, perfectly like so. So let's actually just make this full screen so we can go over what it all means, and then we'll go into some of the rest of it. So firstly, let's maneuver about through Heat. So we have the home button up here, which is Discover. This is what we went over in the browser earlier on in the video, where again you have Explore Movements, Upload and Movement, Subscribe and Documentation. Underneath this, you have My Library, which is what we just saw a second ago, where you have access to all of the different animations that you currently own or you have uploaded. So you can also press the drop-down menu to go through different things. So you've got My Library, Marketplace, Uploaded, Collected, In Plan, and Favorites. Underneath My Library, we have Collections, and this is essentially playlists that you can create so you can have kind of folders of different animations. So let's say you found a load of animations that you want for one game, you can put them all in there. Or if you've got them for one character, or if they're all kind of movement animations, you can kind of organize this however you want, but that's a nice way of doing that. Underneath this, we then also have Create. Now this is something I will go over a little bit more later on in the video. So let's actually import an animation into the scene so you can see how easy it is. So let's go to My Library. I'll make this a little bit smaller so I can see both that and my project. Let's find some empty space and then very simply drag and drop. So let's get the unarmed sprint forward. You can simply drag it from Heat and drop it into your scene. You'll see that you can move it anywhere you want. It's going to put it onto the mannequin. It's getting the Heat animation. Once this loads, which it might be taking a little while because I've got a lot of stuff open on my computer, but once it loads, you can see we now have this animation in here perfectly like so. Let's minimize this so we can see it better. And we've now got this animation very simply drag and dropped into the project onto the Unreal mannequin. Now, as you can see, this is root motion not in place. That's something else I should mention. The majority of the animations on Heat at the moment are root motion. There are some in place, and you can create your own animations and make them in place as well, but the majority of them are root motion. So if you don't know how to use root motion, I can go over it very quickly here in a very, very simple fashion. So let's find where this animation is first of all as well. So I'll go over that too. So if you go into your content browser, we can then see we have Heat animations there. Perfectly, that's where they're all going to be populated. So let's open this up straight away in here. And then one very quick and easy way that you can set them up to be in place is search for root motion and then just tick enable root motion. Simply as that, we now have an in-place animation perfectly like so. And again, that's how easy it is to also get these animations into your project. Let's do it again. Let's find another one. Let's get crowd applause. Drag and drop it straight into the project. It will get the Heat animation. It's made sure it's all retargeted over nicely. And now we have the animation in here like so. Let's all give a round of applause to the Heat system. If we open up the window again, you can see that in the bottom right, we have import as. So at the moment, they're all importing onto the mannequin, because obviously there it's the Unreal mannequin. But we can open this, get T69H, which is this kind of red model that you see here. That's basically the Heat mannequin that they use. Let's drag and drop one in here. Shotgun idle at ease on T69H. This is now moved in an animation perfectly onto that mesh. Actually, let's get the same one. So let's get crowd applause. So you can see it retargeted on both the Unreal mannequin and this mesh here. Because again, this means you don't have to do all of the retargeting. It's done for you. We have more here. So we can also get a MetaHuman and a user model. So you can, if you're using MetaHumans in your project, you can get animation straight into there. Or if you're using your own custom character, you can get them straight on there as well. So let's go over MetaHumans now. Now, in order for this to work, you're going to need to obviously have the MetaHuman plugin enabled and have a MetaHuman installed. As this is a fresh project, I don't, so let's go over that now very quickly. What we can do is go to Edit, Plugins, we can search for Bridge just to double check to make sure Quixel Bridge is enabled. It should be by default, but just make sure there. And then we will go to Window and Quixel Bridge like so. Once this loads, it's very similar to the Heat window. I will allow that there. You can see this is similar to Heat as in it's just its own window in Unreal, which is very, very nice. What we can do is I'm going to go down to this kind of monitor icon here and then go to MetaHumans. And you can see I've got 3 MetaHumans here. So let's just get Oscar. We'll click him and we'll go, well, highest quality because that's the only one I've got. And then we will just simply add. Now this is going to add this MetaHuman into my project here. I imagine if you want to use the animations on MetaHumans, you've already done this process and you know what you're doing. But I'm going to, again, go over it very quickly now, just because I also need to get it into my project. So that should have now installed. If we close Quixel Bridge here, we can go into our content browser, content, and we should now have a MetaHuman in here. We've got Oscar. So that's perfect. If we now go back to the Heat window here, if we now go to MetaHuman again, we should see that we can now have Model, Select, and Oscar, as I've imported Oscar into my project. So that's absolutely fantastic. If we now get crowd applause once again, but with the MetaHuman of Oscar selected, if we drag and drop this into our project, we should see that this animation is now onto our MetaHuman. So obviously it may take a little bit longer as it is a MetaHuman, and I've obviously they've got missing plugins, so I will enable those. So if I enable missing on all of these, and I might need to redo this just so I can do that. Yeah, I need to also restart my project. So I'll restart my project so that I have MetaHumans working, but you can see that this is very simple. So I'll restart now and get back to you. So I'm back in the project now that I've restarted with the new MetaHuman enabled. So I'll go back to Heat from window here. We'll go back to my library here. I'll make this a little bit bigger once again. Then I will import as MetaHuman, select the model of Oscar, and then I was doing the round of applause one so they all look the same. Let's see if I can find it. Crowd applause v4. So if I drag this in with the MetaHuman Oscar, we should see that it is now on Oscar. MetaHumans do take a little bit longer to import just because it's a MetaHuman, the pure size and quality of them, but that's the same with anything you do with MetaHumans as well. So you can see that we now have this animation on the MetaHuman as well. It's still obviously preparing textures and shaders. However, once it's done, we'll see that we now have it on the Unreal mannequin, the Heat mannequin, and a MetaHuman as well. So again, it's now getting the Heat animation, and once it's done that, which it is currently doing, we will see that all of these 3 different mannequins, or these characters, will be playing the same animation. Perfectly, as you can see there. Let's minimize this, and let's even get these playing as well. If we were to just simulate here, we can see that all 3 of these characters are playing the exact same animation, and we've had to do 0 work for this. It's just retargeted over for us automatically. So that is absolutely perfect. So that is now how to do it on MetaHumans, but let's also go over how to do it on your own custom character as well. So first of all, we need to have our own custom character. So I'm just going to get one from Mixamo. So if we open up mixamo.com, we can then log in or sign up if you've never used this before, but you can use your Adobe account with this. So I'll log in using that now. And so we are now here on Mixamo. I'll go over to characters, and then we'll just choose a random character that we like the look of. So let's go for alien soldier. We'll use this character here. So just let it load. This is the one that we're going for. So we will download this in a T-pose and we'll download this like so. Once that's downloaded, we'll go back into our project here. Then what we need to do is we need to import this into a specific location. And if you already have your mesh imported, that's fine. Just move it to the location where I'm about to tell you. So you need to make sure that it is in this characters folder here. Now, if you don't have this folder, that's fine. You can create it. Just make sure that you spell it characters exactly like this with a capital C as well, because that's obviously where it needs to look for the skeletal mesh. So we'll open that up, and now you can have subfolders in here, or you can just import it straight in. So let's just import it in here. So we will get our alien character that we just downloaded off of Mixmo, or again, one that you've got, or your own custom character that you already have in here. We'll import all, and we should see that we now have the mesh in here. So once it's imported, again, you can see we've now got the skeletal mesh inside of this characters folder. The next thing we want to do is we want to instill inside this folder, right click, go to blueprint class, and we want to go to all classes, and we want to search for heat. And what we want to do is we want to create a heat pose modifier. We'll select that, and then we'll name this HPM for heat pose modifier, underscore, and then the name of the character. So for me, this is just alien. So I'll name it HPM alien. We'll open that up straight away. And now this is going to actually enable heat to do the retargeting of the different characters. So on the right here, the only thing we need is the bone map override. So you can see you have heat root, heat hips, heat spine. So that is the skeleton of heat. And then on the right, you'll put in the skeleton of your mesh. So obviously root, hips, spine, and so on and so forth. Now that may be tedious. However, if you are using a Mixmo character, we don't need to do that manually. So what we can do is we can actually go to Edit, Project Settings, and then we're going to search for Heat. And under here, you can see we have Skeleton to Pose. We're going to add a map element here. The key soft object path here is going to be our skeleton. So that is CH44 non-PBR skeleton for me. That is the Mixmo one I just downloaded. And value soft class path, that is going to be the pose modifier that we haven't set up yet, but we just created because we have one automatically made for us. However, we do need to install that from the Heat website. So let's go back onto their website up here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to Discover. We want to go to Documentation. And then we'll go to Advanced Tools in UE5, User Models, Free Blueprint Configs. And then you can see here we have Mixmo, SK Mannequin, Ready Player Me, and Vipe. We want Mixmo, so we'll click on that one there. And this will just take you to mixmo_config.uasset, which is on a Google Drive. So we can download this and then just import this into our projects. So we'll download it. And then the way to import a uasset is just simply move it into the folder in Windows. So I'll show you that now as well. So you want to locate your project folder within Windows. Once you're here, you'll go to Content, Characters, and then into the bit where you've imported your skeleton. If that's in a subfolder, mine is just here. I can't see it, probably because I haven't saved. So if I were to just save all, I imagine that will then show up. So if I save selected, go back to my folder, and you can see that's all there now. Then if we get the Mixmo config from your downloads folder or wherever you put it, I'll copy it and I'll paste it into here. And now we have Mixmo config.uasset. If I close this, if I go in here, we now have Mixmo config perfectly. Open this up, and this is now already perfectly set up so we don't have to go through and do it ourselves. So now if we go back into the project settings where we were before, we can now go to Value and search for Mixmo config there. That is now perfectly set up, so it will retarget our own user model. Every time you have a new character, you will simply just put it in here. So your skeleton to pose, input your skeleton, and input the config, which can either be the Mixmo config or a custom one, which you have set up simply like this HMP alien here, which again, we haven't gone through, but once you would, you'd input everything in here, press compile, and then put it into the project settings. So once you've done that, there's another key thing you want to make sure you've done. You want to ensure that your character is in a T-pose. So if we open up our alien Mixmo character here, you can see that this is in a T-pose. Some of them may be in an A pose or a Y pose. You don't want that, you want it in a T pose like so. If it isn't in a T pose, what you can do is open up the skeleton, select the left shoulder for example, and then you can move it about like this until it is in a T pose, and then you will create asset and create pose asset, current pose. However, again, mine's already in the T pose, so I don't need to do that. And now once we've done that, we can go back into our heat window here. Then we will import as user model, and our model is going to be the one which we have, which you can see there is CH4 non-PBR. That is the one which I imported from Mixmo. So we will select that, and then let's get crowd applause once again. Let's stick with the theme, put that in there. You can see my character, it's getting the heat animation. Once it has done that, it should be giving me a round of applause with all of the other characters which we have here, and you can see perfectly like so. So let's minimize this again, go into simulate, and we can see all of the different characters here giving me a round of applause for Heat doing such a good job of having it do it automatically for us. So we have the Heat mannequin, the Unreal mannequin, a MetaHuman, and a custom model from Mixmo. All perfectly doing whatever animation we want them to do. So again, it doesn't have to be a round of applause. Let's just scroll down and pick another one. Let's get the creeper for this alien. Drag that in there, and then we should see it's getting the heat animation onto my character, and it's doing this kind of funky little animation here, which this looks like it could be used as an in-place running animation. And again, you can do that on any character which you want. You just set it up the way I have done with either MetaHuman or a user model, or obviously the mannequins in here as well. And that is essentially the basics of how to get animations from Heat into your projects. Again, nice and simple, simply just drag and drop from over 1,000 different animations straight into your project for you to use. And obviously you don't need to keep them in your project, you can delete it from here, however you still have it in the Heat animations folder in here. All of these are in here like so. Now another fun little thing that they have is you can actually blend different animations together within a sequencer. So to do this, let's create a level sequence. So at the top, let's go to the sequence here, add level sequence. I'll just put this in content and call this Heat Animation Blending. Save that, and then this will open up a new level sequencer. And now in here, you can also drag and drop directly into the sequencer from Heat, which again is really, really cool. So let's open up Heat. I want to do it onto the T69H. I'm not really a fan of that alien. And let's get Groove 2 Hard Swing. Let's drag and drop that straight into our sequencer here. So you should see it's getting heat seat animation, and this is now added straight into the sequencer perfectly, like so. Let me see where this has actually put it in the world as well. It's over here, so let's just move it away from 000 and just over here somewhere where we can see it. Perfect. Okay, so we now have that in our sequencer. So now let's get another animation in here, which we can then blend between the two of. So let's zoom out a little bit like so. And then we want to make sure that we have this mesh selected, and then we can drag in another animation. So let's go for standing cheer this time, and we can drag it onto that mesh there. It's going to get the heat animation, and you can see it's added it onto that same skeletal mesh. We can minimize this, and now let's expand this out a little bit, and we can see that it's going to be playing these different animations perfectly like so. And now how do we actually blend these together? Because obviously if we play this normally, it's just going to snap between them like so, which looks terrible. So we can very, very easily blend these. Simply just drag one onto the other, and that is going to blend them. Now if we watch this back like so, you can see that it's blending. And now to make this look even better, we're going to right click on the second clip. We will match with this bone in previous clip, and then we will search for whatever bone that we think makes the most sense. I think for these two animations, left toe is going to be good. They kind of said to me the toe is normally the best one. So let's go for Heat Toe Base L. Now, if we play this back again, it's going to look even better. That's merging perfectly. You can make these merge for as long or as quick as you like. But you can see that looks absolutely perfect. We've now got these two animations blending together in this sequencer, so you can create your own sequences directly from Heat using all of these animations. And again, that looks perfect. It looks like just one clean, smooth animation. So I think that's all I'm going to be going over for these animations within the project, like so. We've got it onto the Unreal mannequin, the Heat mannequin, a MetaHuman, and a user model, and we've also gone over blending these within a sequencer as well. All of this very easy, very simple to do. But now let's go over actually uploading animations to Heat as well. As I said earlier, you can use your animations or their animations. We've gone over theirs, so let's now cover yours. So at the moment, this is only on the web browser. However, they are going to be moving this over to the in-engine portal soon as well. But for the moment, let's just go to the browser. So once you're here, you're going to want to go to upload a movement, and then you can simply drag and drop a movement here. And you can see they support GLTF, GLB, FBX, and Heat. Heat is their own custom file format they've created. So I'm just going to upload hip hop dancing FBX into here. And then here you can change the retargeter settings. If you hover over this, you can see Heat needs to know where your movement was exported from so we can map it onto our models. Our auto retargeter can guess most export origins, but can't in cases where bone mappings are identical. For example, move 1, move AI, Xsense. So if you're importing a movement recorded with Xsense, select Xsense for the correct mapping. My hip hop dancing one, I've just got off of Mixamo, so I will put that on there like so. And they do also accept all major mocap solutions, for example, Move 1, Rococo, and Novella. So anything that you want really, they'll do. So let's press upload. It's now processing this movement file that we're uploading, and you can see as quick as that, it's now retargeted it onto the Heat mannequin like so, and that is absolutely perfect. Now that it is in Heat, this essentially means that we can put it onto any other character that we want as easily as you saw we were doing earlier within Unreal. They've put it onto their own Heat file, which means they can retarget it using their system that they have developed. And in this editor here, you can modify it as much as you want. So you can modify the shoulders, the elbows, the Y offset, all of this great stuff if you wanted to. I'm not really going to do much of that, but a really important thing in here as well is the rotation. So if your character comes in rotated the wrong way, you can rotate it here as well if needs be. So then I'm going to save this, and it's going to generate a GIF and save the file, so that obviously the thing we saw in the Unreal had a GIF showcasing what the animation was, so you can see what it is by hovering over it, so you don't need to import it as well to actually see what's happening. So once it's saved, you can name it and give it a description. So let's just call this hip hop dancing, as that's what it is doing, and we'll give this a description of a smooth hip hop dance, something very simple like that. You can change the motion type here from hip, root, and in place. This is in place, so we'll tick that one there, and you can give this tags as well. So we can give this the tag of is dance one. Yes, it is. We can give this a tag of anything else that we want. So this helps you find it in your library as well. So let's also give it party, for example. And then we can simply press upload. And you say, congratulations, your movement is ready to use in our Unreal, Unity, or Blender plugins. So again, I'm doing Unreal, but it does work in Blender, Unity, and DAZ as well. And there's also something else to mention is that this upload portal is all for personal use only, as in you can use it commercially, however, nobody else will see this. This is just for you to use and you to see. So it's uploaded on there for you to access whenever and wherever, but it's just yours. So if you want an animation that's only in your game, you don't want anyone else to have it, that is perfectly fine. So any animations you upload will show in your profile for the next time you open up Unreal Engine as well. So for example, now that I've done that, I can go back to home, and I'm going to go to my dashboard up here, and you can see my libraries here. If I go to uploaded, you can now see that I've got hip hop dancing perfectly here. You can see we just did this, hip hop dancing, uploaded by Matt Asplund, a smooth hip hop dance with the tags of party, dance, and user generated. So although this is just personal use, and you can see here your storage as well. So this is 77 megabytes, and I have 100 megabytes that I can use. And although this is just for personal use, the only you can use it, they are actually onboarding select motion capture artists to become verified creators as well. And those creators then can publicly sell on the Heat marketplace. So that is something they're obviously looking into expanding upon into the future as well. So now if we were to actually go back into Unreal, what we can do is open up the Heat window like so. And now if we go from my library to uploaded, we should see that we have hip hop dancing here. This is the animation that we just uploaded to Heat, and we could have modified if we wanted to. I obviously didn't, but we have it here. It's going to get the Heat animation, and we now have it onto the mannequin here. And again, we can put this onto any mannequin that we want. So let's do the MetaHuman of Oscar, and we'll import this in like so. Going to get the heat animation, and we now have it perfectly like that. So we've got two different characters using the same animation, and I didn't have to do any retargeting for these at all. So let's go back into the heat window here again. One last thing I want to show you is the collections. So let's go to my library, and then if we were to go onto Boxer, we can click it, and then what we can do is on here we can favorite this so we can find it again later on if we wanted to, or we can also save to collection. Now I also don't have any, so I'm going to create a new collection. I'll name this one Boxing, for example, as that's what he's doing, and I'll set the visibility to private. Then I will create this as a collection, and we can then click on Boxing there. It's ticked, and it's now added to Boxing. So if I had to close this, or if I had to go back into Unreal, let's say, oh, no, I am in Unreal, sorry. Let's minimize this. We'll go from my library to favorites. As I added it into favorites as well, we'll see that we have the Boxer. Or if we go from favorites to collected, you'll see that it's in there as well. Or if I were to go down to collections here, we can see that I've got this collection called Boxing. I'll click on it, and we've got this animation. So there are many different ways of going about it, and it just makes it really easy to find all of the different animations which you want. But with that, I think that might be it for this video of me covering Heat, showcasing it and showing you what it's all about. Again, it essentially means you can really, really easily get animations from Blender into Unreal onto your character, or go from their library of over 1,000 animations as well, perfectly onto any character you want, whether that's their character, MetaHumans, or your own custom character, and you can go onto multiple different ones without having to retarget it each time. You can set up the retargeter once, or if you're using Mixmo, it's done for you already. And again, if you're using MetaHumans, that's also done for you already as well. And you can just easily drag and drop your animation into the project. So thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you again to Heat for sponsoring this video. There's a link in the description down below where you can find Heat as well. And I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful of me showcasing Heat and also showcasing how to use it too. So again, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it and you did find it helpful, please do make sure to like and subscribe down below, as we're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers this year, and all of your support means a lot and is really appreciated. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.